This is Let's Get Out the Hood with Mr. Mark and Toxie.
Time to break free, let's get out the hood.
So we're here again, episode 3.
Yes, we are. And Marcus, what is this episode title?
What about your friends?
Yeah, I just want y'all to know this episode was really, Marcus is really excited about this episode.
I am.
This one is personal. It's not just about growth, but it's about the people in your life, the real ones, the seasonal ones, the ones you thought were real. Because we all have those friends, right? And not every friendship is a healthy one.
I agree with you. I am someone who takes friendships very seriously, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I put a lot into my friendships. But when I'm done, I'm done. Like, I honestly, I feel like there's no coming back. Like, I truly, truly feel like that. I feel like I give people plenty of opportunity to show up and just be a good person.
Yeah.
And my friend circle has gotten drastically smaller.
Yeah.
In 2024, 2025, and now in 2026. So, I give people plenty of opportunities, just to show up for me the same way I show up for them.
Yeah. It's interesting because my perspective is different, and I don't even know, because I feel like a lot of times as an Aquarius, I'm supposed to agree to that because I'm very much Aquarius all through and through, but because of that though, I'm also logic.
Sure.
I'm a logician, so I'm always thinking about logic. So what I do is, instead of cutting people off, I shelve them. So
is it really cutting people off though?
I think so. I mean, it's not like, okay, so if there's somebody that you used to speak to who you no longer speak to, if they reach out to you, you're not going to speak to them. No, that's cutting somebody off 100%. And so I don't necessarily know, like in my lifetime, I've cut off one person, and that was recently, right? And that was actually I think it's probably the first time I've ever like truly cut somebody off, right? And what I mean by that is I shelf people. So I have people who are higher in priority on the higher part of the shelf, lower, so on and so forth. That's so right?
funny. I have a friend that just recently told me that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I didn't understand the logic behind that. So that's a real thing, I guess.
So that means like I'm only going to give you a certain amount of energy. You're only going to get a certain amount of time. You're only going to get a certain number of phone calls answered, all of the above. But I've only, like I said, been in one situation where I felt like I needed to cut somebody off. And even that was weird for me. And it's still kind of weird, if that makes any sense. Because I've never really done it before.
So what is a breaking point for you? Like, what is like, hey, I'm done. Like, I'm gonna put you on this shelf. Is it a lower shelf that you don't talk to them, or is it, how do you?
Well, so what I mean by it in this situation, I literally, last text message I got from this person, no response.
Yep.
Ever.
Got it.
And but that's not to even say that if they text me again in 3 months, I might not respond. It just really depends. But that's the first time I've ever really sort of done that. But the only reason why I did that is because they were one of those people who will cut you off for nothing, right? And then come back, and then without any formal true acknowledgement,
like everything is okay.
Thank you, exactly.
Got it.
And then this situation was worse because I had gotten close. Like this friend, I got close to his kids too, right? So his kids, my kids had formed a relationship. I formed a relationship, with his kids, and the back and forth of, because he's mad at me now, I'm not only just losing my friend, I'm also losing these young men who I've poured into, right?
Sure.
And I'm like, I can't do that for forever, for the rest of this friendship.
Sure.
And this friend also, I would say, in some ways, and it took somebody else to point this out to me though, he became my friend because I was trying to fill a void for a friend that I lost that passed away. And there were some similarities, right?
Yeah.
So there were, but I will say the similarities were the similarities that were the fun similarities.
Yeah.
And not as much of the
serious
and emotional, mature similarities. And that was sort of, kind of the difference. But, but at the time, we had fun, right? Again, no qualms about it. In case this friend hears this podcast, we had a great time.
Yeah.
We almost never didn't have a good time, but except for when those time comes where I'm trying to hold him accountable for something, or just we have a disagreement, like just a brotherly disagreement. Because I don't call all my friends my brother. Like I have plenty of friends, and I don't call them brother. I have a handful of friends, so I'm like, that's my brother. Right?
Sure.
And so once you get to that level, and he actually called me his brother before I even felt that all the way myself, right? So once we get to that level, there is no, we stop being friends just because I'm mad and you hurt my feelings. Right? Like for me, that's not how that works. So, but once I realized that that's how things were gonna go, especially when I'm the only friend that showed up at your mom's funeral. I'm the only friend that showed up, in court. Like, I'm the only one of your friends. And I'm the one you treat like this. But, I meant this episode, just so y'all know, I meant this episode to trap Marcus into talking more. So I am going to do my best to trap him into saying some stuff and perhaps maybe even...
I don't think I can get trapped. But, no, I completely agree with you. And I think there's a couple of things that are off. When it's your friendships, I think there are some things that are off limits. Like, there are some things that you cannot speak on, right?
100%.
One of the things is my how I feel about God, right?
Yeah.
My spirituality, whatever you want to call it. Like that, I feel like that's off limits, right? That's just my opinion. Another thing is you can't speak on my relationship with my husband. And that is completely like your input about how you think about how our relationship looks or feels or your thoughts, those don't matter to me worth shit. Like, and you should not be able to speak on that. Like, I feel like that's one of those things where if I ask you, like, hey, what do you think about this? And you're like, oh, well, I think, this is a situation, then that's fine. But you don't have to.
But even then, be respectful.
Be respectful, exactly. And so I feel like those are really two things that I take a pause to. And so one of my friends I did have to let go because they chose to speak on both of those things. They chose to speak on, and question, I think we talked about a little bit about this in the last episode. Was I atheist? What my beliefs were in God. And then the other one thing was they had things to say about my relationship with my husband. And so, and that just gave me pause. And then I had to take a step back and really think about how has this person showed up for you? In those times, like what you just mentioned, like, when someone passed, like, did they show up for you? And they did not. And so when I think about one of my friends that is close to me, this showed up for me when my father passed. Like this person I had not spoke to in a little while. And just out the blue, we just started back talking and they literally drove in snow to come to my father's
And it's funny you mentioned that. The friend I was talking about earlier, he hadn't talked to me in 3 weeks, but I still showed up to his mother's funeral. And so those are the things that matter, like those monumental things in your life that really impact you. And if you can't show up for me, this actual particular person even one time told me, oh, I didn't even know, my brother is deceased, told me, oh, I didn't even know you had a brother. Well, why don't you know that? If you're going to call yourself my friend, like, who are you? Okay, so you got to give... Here's one thing I'm going to say about that. But I do want to add what you said, but I also want to... I'm going to take away for a second, right? It's hard as an individual to let somebody know every single thing about you. But it's also... It's hard to know and remember every single thing about a person, right?
I agree with you.
So, I don't get offended when people don't know certain things or remember because it may not have come... Like, for example, some people, like, let's just say we've been in a relationship for 5 years and then all of a sudden, like, you remember, oh, there was that one time that I cheated on my ex, right? You didn't tell me this 5 years into a relationship? Well, I don't remember. I mean, like, granted, that's an extreme example, and that's something you probably should remember, something that would have been discussed. But my point is, I'm just saying, like, I sold a candy bar 12 years ago, and I got arrested, and I forgot to tell you about that.
Got it. But it's your approach on how you handle it right there.
Well, and that's exactly what I was getting ready to say, though, too. When people are talking to other people about their lives, like, some people will take so much, and I call it fake ownership, because it's not true ownership, because you're not truly trying to be accountable with me and walk the steps that you're talking about with me. And that's where rejection comes in, because why are you more upset about my marriage than I am?
Yikes.
Like, that's crazy. But you have so many people that like that. Or why are you more upset about the fact that I don't go to church than I am? Like, why is this such a big deal to you? Like, why are you grasping onto this?
Yeah, agreed.
Like, I remember I was at a bar one night, and there was a guy in there. He was married, and he was trying to hit on this woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And her friend, when she realized he was married, went on this whole long just diatribe about how bad he is and how he shouldn't be doing this and all this stuff. And she was so upset and so mad, like it got to the point where they had to leave. And I'm sitting there like, ma'am, what? Like, why is what he's doing right now so personal to you?
Yeah.
So you need to go deal with your shit.
Yeah.
Go deal with your shit.
And I think that's what it is. Like, a lot of times you need to deal with your shit.
Yes.
Before you can say that you're a friend of someone, right?
Well, or before you can assert yourself.
Assert yourself, yeah.
Because people get, I think it's just because I'm sure that friend, whatever the issue was that was going on in the marriage, it was like his marriage for those few moments, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Like, I would say that specific person, like, I never talked to them about anything. If there was anything that was going on.
So this was completely unsolicited.
This was just
this
is completely unsolicited. Yeah, these are your personal opinions.
There are moments where somebody is looking for a listening ear and they may say something.
Sure.
And then, it's your job as a friend to determine what it is that they need. And honestly, something that I'm learning more so with my kids, for example, even is asking them what they need.
Yeah.
Or when somebody calls me for advice now, I ask them, I
love that.
What are you looking for, right? Because I need to know, right? Do you want me to listen and and him and ha, whatever, right?
Do you want this raw truth?
Yeah. Or do you want this exactly, right? And I have friends that I call specifically for the raw truth that, and I put truth in air quotes because they're going to also say things that I may disagree with, right? Yeah. But I'm not going to stop being friends with them. Yeah. Like I talked to a friend just yesterday. Who said that, basically, I'm going to paraphrase and add my own way of saying it, but basically, I'm an habitual swinger for the fence. Like, I always swing the fence. And he's like, sometimes, you got to, do baby steps. But what I disagree with him on is that I do small things behind the scenes or whatever. It just so happens that, you hear about the bigger things, right? That I try. But I'm a trier. I'm gonna keep trying. Yeah. Right. It is what it is. We gonna do some stuff. Like, you've seen me through several different phases or whatever. But I appreciate it though. His perspective in that moment. Right. Yeah. But he didn't act like my life was his life in that moment. If that makes any sense. Yeah. No, I get it. I completely get it. And I think it really is about how you show up for that person. I literally have blocked a lot of people. I don't think I've ever blocked anybody. No, I blocked them. Like, I just feel like, again, I am a damn good friend. Yeah. And if you were to ask, Tyrone, like, how does Marcus show up for his friends? He'll tell you. Like, let me ask you this though. Do you feel like your friends have to show up for you the same way you show up for them? Absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. I'm not asking you to show up and do, because I just... And so my act of love is like giving, right? Yeah. And so that's my act of love is giving. And so I don't ever ask any of my friends to show up like that. I just ask them to be there, like, call, check on me sometimes. Yeah. Just like, hey, what are you doing? What's up with you? How are you feeling? Yeah. If you can't do that, you're not a friend. But like my circle. What if they have a shelf and you're like down here? Well, how am I down there if I do those things for you? Because it's not about that. Yeah, no, I'm not even those things. But even if I call you and check on you, like, how are you doing mentally? Like, if I do those things. And, my friends, man, it's really funny how when I think about, I have, like, a small group of friends, like, but I can guarantee you that any of those people in that group, I could call for anything. Yeah. In the middle of the night, if I needed just somebody to consult with me, any of those people, any of them, I could pick up the phone and call them. But that old group of friends, But that's fair though. But you have to set your own, dynamics or rules for what you consider to be a friend, right? Sure. Whereas me and the other friend you talked about earlier, we're able to put people on shelves, and that shelf can go from here all the way down to the floor. Yeah. And you have, and that's friends and family. Like, that's not just friends. That's friends and family. Like, certain people who get a certain amount of access to me, and certain people who don't get that access. For those reasons. Like, the people who always need something, right? Those people. And what irritates me the most about those friends though is they'll come in with like a fake, oh, how's it been going type thing, right? Whereas just get to it. Like that's literally all you're calling about. Because I remember I was on the phone with somebody one time. They kept me on the phone for 45 minutes. Like I'm thinking they're calling me to truly like talk and catch up. So I'm like, oh, we moved recently. You know, it's good to hear from you. Da da da. And when I'm ready to get off the phone, I'm ready to get off the phone.
Sure.
Right. I don't like talking to people every single day. I don't like talking to anybody every day. Like other than my wife, I don't talk to people every day.
Got it.
Even with us doing this podcast, like, you know, I have to get used to the rate in which we have to communicate because I'm just not used to people, you know, having that kind of access, right? And so I thought the conversation was over, and I was like, oh, well, it's good to hear from you. You know, good luck.
You were ending the conversation.
And then they go, hey, by the way,
and it continues.
I need, and then we get to the need. Well, sir, ma'am, because that way we can keep this, you know, you don't know who it is. But sir, ma'am, you could have got to this within the first 10 because that's really all you called for. Yeah. And the rest of it was fluff. You know, and so I would have appreciated you respecting my time more so you can get this no faster. Yeah. Because no's going to come. Yeah. Well, if I know a no's coming, I mean, granted, most people don't think the no's coming, but it's coming.
It's a surprise.
Correct. But I would rather give you a 10-minute no than a 45-minute no. Because you truly don't care about any of the stuff that we
just come out and say what it is.
Correct. Like you don't care how many points my son scored the last game you played. You don't care about that.
You don't care about that.
Correct. So like I could have skipped all of that. Yeah. You know, because I also hate telling the same story like 55 times in a day. So I could have saved that story for another conversation that I didn't want to have. Sure. See what I'm saying? Sure. So just be real. Yeah. And that's the hardest part. So even with bad friends, though, I want them to be real, though. Like, be real about that's just what you are.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I won't even call them bad friends because I don't even attach. Well,
because you cut them off. So
I did. I just at this great age, as I mentioned before,
established, I don't cut people off.
I have a very low tolerance. Yeah. And the people that are in my circle, they're in my circle for a reason. And I tell people, like, you know, just be honest with me. Just be honest with me. And, you know, and again, it's not about spending an amount of money. It's not about spending time. Just call and check on me. You know what I'm saying? We are all struggling with something. And I just think that's what friends do. You know, even if it's just a check-in, like a weekly check-in.
Aren't there some friends that you wouldn't want to do that, though? Like, aren't there some friends
No. I feel...
You don't have anybody in your life that you're like, I trust Steve with this, and I trust Sarah with that. No, you don't do that.
No. I feel like all of my friends know everything about me.
Really?
I truly do. And it's a small... Now, I mean, there are newer friends that are in my circle. And I'll say there's probably a good 7 people, maybe, that... And maybe 8. Maybe a good 7 people that I consider friends. Like, you know, I'll give you an example. One of my friends... And again, friends to me are like family. And so I'm like embedded in their family. They're embedded in my family. They know Tyrone. I know their spouses. One of my friends, we literally just went out with them this past weekend. Yeah. With me, Tyrone, her husband, and their 3 kids. Yeah. And it's like family. It's just organic.
But it doesn't. Some friends can graduate the family, and some friends stay in the and some stay in the remedial class though. But they're still friends. Like they're still invited. Like for example, I have some friends that I will invite over for certain events. Right?
Sure. Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. Got it. And some that ain't gonna get that invite.
Sure. Okay, I get it.
Either because they're gonna be late, or they're not gonna come, or they're gonna say they're gonna come, and I'm gonna waste money on food, or things like that, or you know, it just may be a friend that I do this thing with. Sure. Like boxing is my favorite sport, for example. Right? Love boxing. You know. You and Tyrone are the friends that I can invite to anything. I know you don't give a shit about boxing, right? No, not at all. But you're gonna show up, we're gonna talk, have a good time, whatever, da. But I have friends who I watch the fight with. Okay. That I would invite to shit else.
Okay, so maybe I should call like my circle family. Okay. And maybe I should call my circle family.
So some friends,
because I do have friends that we, you know, like we like.
I say that last part because I don't want, you know, dudes to be tight next time they see me. But right, you know, it is what it is.
So maybe I should call my circle family, right? But then we do have friends, like when we have events, like I go into my phone and I'm like, oh, we can invite this person, this person, this person, you know? So I would say maybe my close circle is family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have one friend, and I'm not like this, because I think this is a little bit, I think, because that can get manipulative, right? But she has friend groups in which she's a different person in each of those friend groups.
Wow.
Right?
I would say I used to be like that.
Yeah. And that's not me. I'm going to be me in all those friend groups.
Yeah.
I just understand, like, for example, I value, you and Tyrone being around and being in my life.
Yeah.
So there's certain people, out of respect for y'all, I'm not going to bring around, because I'm not going to put up with the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, I already know what time it is.
Sure.
Right? And it also defeats the purpose. Like, I'm inviting you so we can all have a good time. If I know you're not going to have a good time, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? And so, that's a conversation for another day. But you have some people who would have invited them to that party anyway, right? And they would have just been asked out. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like, I got a cousin, I can't remember the last time what it was, but went to the neighborhood, for example. This is actually a good example, right? And it was after a concert. There was, as you know, there are plenty of straight women in there. They out there, right? And obviously, I'm not there for that, but I called my friend, my cousin. He's a single man, so I'm like, look, I'm gonna be out here. It's after so and so concert. Sure. They with us. Yeah. So this is gonna be going on too, right? And he was like, so where is it at? And so, I told him where it was at. He's not familiar. Like, he don't know it like we know it, right? And so I said, like, it's in the neighborhood. Just so we're clear, right? And he was like, nah, I'm good on that. but
it can be a lot.
But there are some people, though, who would have not told him that. Sure. And then let him find that out once he got there. Sure. And then they would have played the victim when there was a problem.
I got it.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I think that, it's I'm going to encourage you to build some shelves and start shelving, people in certain
I just feel like if you are at the bottom of my shelf, you just don't exist. Like, that's how I feel.
Because again, you got some friends, like people who you genuinely still care about, but they ain't shit.
Yeah, those are the ones that I like. And I wish them well on their path. Oh my God. I wish them well on their path. But seriously,
maybe they need people like you to keep them grounded in the shit.
Like, for example, but I think there's other things that go into that. Like, it's not just that I care about them, genuinely care about them, but they're just not good people.
But that's my point, though, right?
They have ego with them, or there's jealousy involved.
But that's why those people get put down. They get muted a little bit.
But why do I have to dumb myself down, or
you don't have to,
or like to even deal with that? Yeah. Like, there's no need for me to deal with that. Like, seriously.
Yeah. And that's fair.
I shouldn't have to dim my light to make you feel better about who you are and things. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so that's why I don't genuinely, it's just easier for me to block and delete.
So just to be clear though, there's somebody like that where you truly have to be less of yourself.
Absolutely.
Around them, like, those are people who can bet out of there. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But if there are some people that you just be like, I love them, but they ain't shit.
Yeah. A couple of them are, I recently just I blocked and deleted a couple of coworkers that I genuinely thought were my friends, and at the time when I needed them to show up for me and be there for whatever I was going through, they were not there.
But see, coworkers are the worst though. Yeah. They're even worse. The coworkers are
one of my coworkers is actually my family.
No. What I mean is, but the ones who aren't your friends, those are the worst kind of ones. To not be your friend, that pretend to be your friend, because that's a double-edged sword.
Well, one of them in particular, like, I really, really thought, like, I thought we were, like, really close. Yeah. And at a time when I needed this person to show up for me, wouldn't show up for me. And so it was like, well, I always take a step back and say, Marcus, well, if the roles were reversed, how would you have showed up for that person?
Correct. Yeah.
And so if the answer is just different, I'm just like, you know what? I don't feel like you're a friend. But
to me, not showing up And
you can't send a text. You can't send a text or just say, "Hey, I support you." Like, you can't say any of that.
You asking a lot. I don't know.
I don't know if that's a lie.
I think it depends, and maybe this is where the zodiac signs and stuff come in.
I am a Taurus, so
but because my expectation is that if you're not gonna throw me under the bus. You're not gonna try to, if somebody's talking about me negatively, you'll have my back.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that kind of stuff.
That
right?
would not have taken place.
But as far as like if I'm in, the manager's office and
I get it, it's work, right?
Correct.
You want to save your ass the same way I want to save my ass. You don't want to paint yourself negatively and be like and have a target on your back because you stood up for little old me. I get it, but can you send a text and say, "Hey, you know what? I understand what you're going through."
Well, no, I was actually saying I think you should in that situation, right? Because now your integrity is also on the line in this situation. So
I blocked them. It doesn't matter, and they're gonna remain blocked. And so that's the thing.
Like you don't have to jump out the window and get fired for me, but you can say,
exactly.
But there are professional ways that you can say, "Well, that's not my experience. This is what I experienced."
Yeah.
So there are very professional ways to handle things. And for the most part, I've been professional. I had a situation recently where I was finally super unprofessional, articulate, but I was unprofessional as hell because I would have fired me too. But that's, again, another conversation for another day.
Right.
But my point is that those friends... I don't know. That's why I think the shelves are so important, though, because certain coworkers make it to the family shelf.
The shelves thing is weird for me because I really want to
you just prioritize in life.
I don't know. I just want to treat everyone the same way.
You have to prioritize everything. Everything is prioritized, right?
Well, I'm not gonna reprioritize anyone.
Well, the ones you cut off,
they're gonna remain.
They're dead, and that's fine.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, moving forward,
and a couple of them are real dead. Like I will never. I will never revisit that relationship ever again. Okay.
Anyway, all right. So let me give you a real life story example. Okay. And these are some friends that I'm still hoping to sort of re-bridge the gap.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So just, for this, because I don't want the story to get too confusing, so I'm going to use fake names to get through the story. Okay. All right. So let's just say DeMarco and Jonathan worked together.
Okay.
They had a mutual friend named Steve.
Steve
was married. During said marriage, his wife had an affair with Steve's best friend. Okay.
Got it.
So DeMarco and Jonathan, being the good friends they are, they were there. They supported him. They both agreed that it was terrible. Both the wife and Steve's best friend are horrible people. And they had this whole session of commiserating. But you fast forward, Steve and his wife get divorced. Right?
Okay.
So probably a couple of years pass by. Steve's now ex-wife somehow, again, I don't know, because men lie, right, about how these interactions happen, but allegedly
people lie. Don't just say.
I'm sorry. People lie, but men lie on the P word a lot. Okay, but allegedly, she slid in his DM innocently, and eventually they end up, hooking up. Sure, right, cool, bet. So you fast forward another few years from that point in time, Steve is now back with his ex-wife.
Okay, the one he divorced. Okay.
And they're hanging out, and then a Snapchat pops up, and that Snapchat is from Jonathan again. And then so Steve's like, "Oh, that's cool. What's Jonathan want?" And what Jonathan was doing was like, "Hey, I'm in town. What's up?"
Oh no.
So Jonathan was trying to spin the block again for one more again, right? And then that's when the ex-wife ended up telling Steve about what happened. Okay. So you fast forward 2 more years.
Okay.
Now Steve is on the phone with DeMarco and was talking about how him and Jonathan were having, some, issues. And then Steve was like, "I'm sure the thing, with so-and-so didn't help with someone his ex-wife, right?" And then DeMarco was like, "What thing with so-and-so?" And he's like, "Oh, I thought you knew."
Damn.
So then that's when Steve goes on a rabbit hole of explaining, Jonathan smashed my ex-wife. and would slide in her DMs again while me and her was hanging out.
Okay, got it.
Oh, also to add to the story though, in between that time though, when the world found out that Steve and his ex-wife were hanging out again, they had another meeting of the minds, so everybody was equally agreeing it was a bad idea, first of all.
Okay.
But during that time, Jonathan did not disclose that he had already clapped them cheeks.
Oh no, clapped them cheeks.
Yes. So, with that being said, once DeMarco found out,
okay,
he has decided to cut off Jonathan because of what he feels is, there was some whole stuff, because one, you don't go with your boys' exes in theory and stuff like that or whatever, and different, and all of us men have different rules on that kind of stuff and different rules on when it's considered fresh and new and all of this stuff because that's the patriarchy and that's what we do. But with that being said, though, some men still stand on like once your homeboy, like especially if that was his wife, it wasn't just like
a girlfriend, somebody he dated.
Yeah. So that was a big for him, like a big moment, and so he completely just canceled him, and then all the friends, the group chat we had is dead. It's a lot, right? And and again, I hope eventually to re-bridge that gap. I don't think I will.
Yikes!
I don't think I'll be able to, because my thing is that the penalty was the death penalty, but it wasn't your wife.
Mm-hmm.
It was your friend's ex-wife.
Okay.
Right. Still horrible. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I don't even say horrible because I'm lying to y'all. It's not horrible. It's just something that I wouldn't do.
Sure.
Right. And so I'm able to compartmentalize it just like that. I would not do it, but that doesn't mean that because you did it, you're dead to me necessarily, right? But it's definitely not something I would do. It's definitely a conversation we need to have. It's a conversation that we have had, even after the situation. Even though some of that conversation was a lot less serious than I'm sure DeMarco would have liked, because we was laughing about it, having a good time, talking about all the reasons. But my point is that we did talk about it, right? Sure. And he understands that wasn't a good look. Mm-hmm. But to me, that's the extent of it, though. It's like, hey, that wasn't a good look.
Yeah.
You acknowledge it wasn't a good look.
Sure.
And then we can move on. And then if DeMarco wanted to move him down on the shelf, like, okay, he just lost a notch, and that's fine. But for you to just say, because of this, I'm throwing the baby out.
Everyone's different. Everyone's different.
But it's hard though, man, because again, at the end of the day, we just did a message or an episode on church, right?
Yeah.
God's grace. If my feet got held to the fire every time I'm in a mistake,
do I have to give you grace because I'm not God?
That's you.
I'm not God. So how many times do I have to give you grace?
And none of us are. I'm just saying. I'm more like, okay, I'm gonna give you this grace.
I'm gonna be honest with you, 100%. I don't miss any of those people. I will say that I will step out and be honest. The extreme honest part of Marcus. Mm-hmm. I will say that there is one coworker that I actually do miss.
Okay.
But anyone else that I have blocked recently, I do not miss them.
Yeah. And the one thing,
I will even take this a further step. Like one of the relationships that I had. This is
Marcus, I need you to dig a little deeper.
Okay, hold on. This is somebody that I actually grew up with.
Okay.
And the reason why we took a long pause in our relationship, and I don't think we fully addressed the reason why we took that pause before we started this friendship back up again.
Fair enough.
And so I think that is part of it, and that actually had to do with trust. It had to do with me trusting you, and you failed.
Yeah.
And so we never really fully addressed it, and we just tried to pick up where we were. 20 years later.
Yeah.
And we're different people. We've grown, and no fault of that person, no fault of mine. Yeah. And I just felt like the effort wasn't there on their behalf.
Okay.
And so that is the reason why I just decided, like, look, this isn't, I just think you're good, I'm good, we're both good. The other person, the same kind of situation. Like, we have been friends since we were teenagers. And I just, I think I'm good. Those types of relationships, though, when you've been...
Well, when you use words like effort, though, I want you to talk to me.
I feel like I put effort into all my relationships, all my friendships.
But I want you to talk to me more about what effort means to Marcus.
Effort is me picking up the phone, listening to the things that you're going through, just being a voice of reason when you need me to be a voice of reason, listening, listening ear, not always responding, because sometimes people just want you to listen, right? They don't necessarily want you to respond. Yeah. And so I think that I have done that, and I think I do that, especially with the people in my circle right now. I do that with them. Yeah. I'm a great friend.
Okay, let me ask you a question though.
Sure, go ahead.
But do you not have like certain friends? And we talked about this a little bit earlier, but do you not have certain friends that are just like for certain things? So like the fun friend. Do you have the fun friend that you would not call to talk to about nothing serious? Like you don't have friends like that?
No.
Really? Interesting.
No, because I don't feel like those are good relationships. But so you just have friends that you just go out and it's like, oh, okay, again, because we're saying like, we're talking about my circle, which we've now called those people family, right? Within my family circle, no. Like, I don't feel like there's anyone in there that I would use for something.
Well, yeah.
Outside of that, maybe there are people that are like, oh, they're a good time, I'm gonna hang out with them. Okay. Like, I'm saying, and again, it takes a while. I have to be able to trust you. Yeah. And without me going too into detail, and this person will probably know what I'm talking about. Like, they're a fairly new friend. I will give them the title of friend. Okay. Now, we see each other a lot. We hang out a lot. And they're fun. Yeah. But can I trust you with my deep, dark secrets if I had any? Probably not. Not right now. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that won't build over time.
But my thing is, though, it's okay if that never gets to that point because that friend serves a purpose.
Why would I want someone like that in my? Why would I want someone like that?
Because not everybody's the same. Like, not everybody, when you think about a company, right? You have certain people, everybody has a different job.
So you're a job title. You're just a person I can just go out and kick it with. And that's it.
So I have some friends I can do all of the above with. And I have some friends that I would never call if I was in trouble. Okay.
Right? So I think again, it's a separation between who your friend will say friends family
type of trouble. They're not the ones I'm gonna call.
Right. So we'll say friends family. We'll give them a title, and then we'll give this section over here just friends.
Okay, fair enough. But I think even within like my friend family circle, right? There are certain things that certain people in that circle get access to that even all of them don't. So
I think they all should have access. If you're calling these people truly family, these are people like that you bring around.
Look, all your blood family ain't even real family. So
that's true.
All of them get different things. So like I have one friend that's more judgmental than the other one.
And I can't do judgmental friends at all.
And I would say there's only two people. Well, one of us passed away now, but like there's only two people who've ever gotten probably like literally all of what this is, and this is a mess, right? Organized though, very organized. Because of the simple fact, some of those people are like that are in my family circle. Some of those are actually friends that I still like actually look up to, right? Sure. Even though they're like because I've always had older friends. That's always been most of my friends have always been older. And so there's certain things that I've done that I would never tell them about.
Sure.
Like, ever. It just is what it is. But because that's not the kind of friend we are.
Sure.
No,
I get it. I get it. And even in my friends' family, like there's probably like, they don't, I will say, I'll go back and say, there's some people that in their circle that know everything about me, but there are people in their circle that probably don't know everything. Correct. So I'll give a good example.
As you get lower on the shelf, it gets filtered. Go ahead.
The shelf thing is sending me. Like I'll tell you, like Salida, Salida knew everything about me. Like that was my friend, and I will never probably have. I think I have a friend. I have a friend that is pretty close to Salida, but the relationship that me and her had it can't be duplicated. Yeah. Right. It can never be duplicated by anyone. And so there's a lot of people that come close to it, and again, that doesn't mean that you're less a friend, or because again, the people that are in my friend family, like I love them. Like those are like genuinely like my sisters and my brothers. Like
Yeah.
I love them. You know, again, like the other people that are like outside of that, like I'm not gonna tell you like my personal.
Correct.
You're just not gonna know my personal.
So maybe you have shelves and you just don't know them.
Maybe I do have shelves. That is a good call out.
But because the difference
But
is
the bottom shelf, I just feel like you can just eliminate that. Like I don't feel like anyone should be on the bottom shelf. Like the bottom shelf is like the people that are Dollar Tree. These are like the dollar. Can I say that?
Yeah,
like the bottom shelf is like Dollar Tree, and then you got like Dollar General, and then you have like Walmart, and then you have like Target, and then you have like
see, okay, so I look at my shelves differently.
that's how
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
What's up with Target? I don't know.
Whole
Foods?
Bloomingdale? I don't know.
Whole Foods?
Oh, Whole Foods.
Like I don't know. Like I don't know.
Trader Joe's. I don't know.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and
yeah.
Whole Foods maybe. At the
Well,
top.
actually, we can put
Grocery
Target at the
store.
top because I like Target. I know everybody's canceling
don't-
Target, but I don't care. I still shop at
No.
Target. It
Listen.
is what it is.
Nah, stop.
I went to Target yesterday.
Trying to get this canceled, sir.
Sorry.
Because and we'll talk about the reasons. Ooh, we can argue about that on another episode. Let's
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But the way I look at my shelves is more like a company.
Mm.
In a company, you have your, CEO, your board. You have different departments. You have
Sure.
different leaders in those departments that do different things, and that's the way I look at it. So it's like I accept you for who you are and the value that you have to contribute, and I don't
Sure.
expect anything else from you.
Sure.
Right? That is not necessarily going to delineate the value that I give to you, or diminish the value that I give to you. It's not
Sure.
necessarily going to diminish it because I have friends who I am better friends to them than they are to me. Or they trust me with more things than I would ever remotely trust them with, right?
Sure.
And that's just and that's the way I look at my filter. So everybody has a department. I got some friends, who we gonna talk about, finance and but we might talk about finance in general terms, right?
Sure.
And then I got some friends, we gonna get personal.
Yeah, like I told you, like me and
About
Slita,
the
like
prices.
listen, we would chop it up. She would be like, "Girl, you got $10?" I'll be like, "Girl, I ain't got $10. I'm broke." Like that's what I'm saying. Like those friends that you like, man, listen, I ain't got no money. I can't go nowhere this week. Like that's yeah.
But I will say this though, right? I am always shocked. Speaking of friend levels, right? And I don't think this is a unique experience, but there are certain people when they call to ask to borrow money, I'm like, the audacity, right? I don't even fuck with you like that. So again, if you down here, don't call me about that.
But let me also just,
Although, but look, check this out. There are certain friends and family
Sure.
that are down there.
Sure.
When they ask me for that little $20 or whatever it is, I'll send it to them.
Yeah, just send it to them.
Well, because
Yeah.
anytime I give somebody money,
you don't ever expect to get it back.
correct. I'm not gonna give
My
you.
grandfather used to always say that
Yeah.
if you loan somebody some money, just don't ever expect
Correct.
to get it
And if you get it back, that's
back. Don't loan anything else. Don't loan an amount of money that you actually need. That's what my grandfather used to always say.
Correct. So that way you don't have to be, mad about it.
True.
It doesn't have to change the dynamic of the
Absolutely.
relationship. But the thing about that is though, them people, they're gonna tell them themselves though, right? Because they gonna stop being around. They gonna start acting funny because they prize, they feel like you gonna ask them for this,
Sure.
it can be like $25, right?
Yeah.
They feel like you gonna ask. But then you also have the ones that's gonna borrow that $25, right? Like, I'll pay you back next week.
Not saying that everybody down here is borrowing money.
Correct. Yeah.
Because that's not the case.
Yeah, not everybody.
And when I said this is like Dollar Tree and Dollar General and Target, it doesn't.
it's
mean,
a ranking system.
It's a ranking system.
Yeah.
It's not like your work or anything. Like
Correct.
I don't
But
think.
let's check it like this. I have
Because again, one of those people that is down there, they will hear this and they will definitely think, "Oh, he's always thought I was better. He was better than me."
I mean,
I don't think I'm better.
I'm gonna
than
say this.
anybody.
I hope my friends that are listening
I don't think I'm better.
don't try to figure out where you are on my shelf.
Yeah.
Just based on this. If you really want to know, you can ask me. I will tell you. But I don't want you to assume based on what I'm saying. Because I have friends down here on the lower end of the shelf that are very intellectual.
Yeah.
They got their shit together more than I got
You
my
know,
shit together. But they're just shitty friends.
And I won't even say like my friends I talk to once a week. Now my friend family, they just call me out the random,
Yeah.
right? The majority of them. I
Mhm.
talk to them, we hang out. I have probably seen them all within the past month, right? I will say, I'll go out and I'll say this one person, and this person is very, very dear to my heart. Tamika, right? I don't see her.
Yeah.
I typically, we both, but guess what? We have been very, very close friends for a really, really long time. I absolutely love her. I adore her. I know she's your friend.
I wasn't going to mention her.
I can mention her.
You know, because
But
I don't want to put her in danger. But
you have those friends like her that you don't even have.
She might know some stuff.
You don't even have to see them on a regular basis, or you don't even have to talk to them. But you just know if I needed somebody, if I was listen.
Well, or just think about it like this though. Just because you don't talk to them, you know that's your friend.
That's my friend.
Like there are times where, but because I love, like just to talk about Tamika, I love somebody like stalking her, like when she be moving around. Like, so I might not actually see her for a year.
True. I can't tell the last time I saw her.
Correct. But I can pick up the phone and call her sometimes. Yeah. I'm gonna say most of the time. I won't make you jealous, but I can pick up the phone. I'm jealous. I can pick up and call the phone most of the time. But there's times where, again, like we're in a phase right now where we haven't been talking as much. But it's not. I'm not sitting there like, oh my God, this is not my friend. No, like that's my friend.
Yeah.
Because I know if.
But those are like your friend, family. Like that's what I'm saying. Like those people that. Like, I think she's probably the only person that I don't like. But I know, listen, I FaceTimed her maybe 2 weeks ago and she just picked up. It was like in the morning, I had my bonnet on. I feel like she had her bonnet on. That's her. And it was like,
she will always
what you doing? But I'm just talking, like, those are the people, like, again.
But yeah, that's a different, criteria.
That's a whole different,
It transcends, like,
but if I'm calling you all the time and I'm trying to extend myself to you, like, hey, let's hang out, let's go here, let's go there, and you're like, no, I got this, I got that, I don't have time for that. Like,
But Marcus, what you do with those people is they go from here, like, oh, I thought he or she was this level of cool. I'm gonna put them down here. So, like, if they hit me up to be like, hey, let's do such and such if I'm available. Cool. If I'm Marcus,
but that's my block shelf. Why can't my shelf be blocked? Like the shelf right here, that can be my block.
Because that's not cut off. If they can still reach you, then
I feel like if things are not organic and you have to put too much into it, it's just not worth it.
But I'm gonna use my favorite phrase that you don't like. Again, everybody they're humans having human experiences.
I agree.
So with that being said, for them at that point in time, maybe that's too much and they can't handle it, right? Because of whatever they got.
But what about when I see you going out hanging out with other people, like all the time? Like, what about that? Hi.
Yeah. Fair. Okay.
What about that?
And that's where you
can make time for everybody else, but you literally, I don't even want to go into it. But literally, one of these people, like every week, doing something. Yeah,
but that's where you reorganize them blocks. Or
I can just keep you blocked. I'm good. All right. This has been the friend conversation. This has been great. All right, let's move on.
You have an ad to read, sir.
Oh
no, actually, no. I'm sorry. I was supposed to do that. So let's read the ad read. Hopefully Marcus doesn't block the person whose ad this is. All right. So. Whenever it comes time to do your taxes, first of all, we all do not like that period of time. Most of us don't. I don't care how much money you have, how much money you don't have. Nobody likes it. I feel like the people who get a bunch of money back,
they got all them kids.
But they like the results. They still don't like the process of sitting there with somebody to do their taxes. But you don't, and that's why you don't just need a preparer. You need a partner. You need somebody that's going to walk you through it, somebody who you can trust, that's going to take the time to build trust with you. At Marshall Group, reliability isn't a slogan, it's a promise. They show up for their clients with expert guidance, clear answers, and service that puts people first. And when our community needs support, we give back because strong finances build stronger neighborhoods. From individuals to small businesses, the Marshall Group helps you move forward with confidence. So please, if you have questions, reach out to the Marshall Group. Don't be over there for the IRS. IRS will find you. They are serious people. But really, though, I appreciate this ad from the Marshall Group and their explanation because a lot of times you go somewhere just for a service and it's ABC 1 2 3
Sure.
out the door.
Sure.
But for somebody to see you as a partner, right. Instead of just a customer, a number, that changes the game a little bit in terms of the relationship and what they're willing to do for you.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so
and we'll link their information in the
the link will be in the description.
All right,
yes,
cool.
so please check their link in the description, and so shout out to the Marshall Group. So we're gonna expand this discussion a little bit, actually, right? So normally this is where we do a segment called "No News is Good News," but we're gonna sort of blend this with our pop conversation about some things that are going on, right? So you have a lot of celebrities who they want their public wins to be celebrated, but they also want to crash out in public. And also have us not talk about that. They don't want us to talk about the meltdowns, the imperfections, and things like that. And honestly, I'm a person, I really don't get too far deep off into that content because I also have shells for things I consume, right?
Okay.
And the value that I give them. And again, and that works for me. And maybe one of these days we can talk about what's on these different shelves. It's funny because Neil Brennan, he was the co-writer of Chappelle's Show. He did a special called Blocks, right? So his blocks are actually similar to my shelves in a way, but they're more sort of all over the place. They're organized in his mind. They make sense to him, right? But for me, like my shelves have to be left to right, top to bottom.
Sure.
Right. That's just the way it works in my mind, and I actually have a visual in my mind for how that works. I'm like every time I go like this, guys, I'm literally visualizing that shelf. I see it, right? But with that being said, recently, our good friend Onika, is that her name? Onika has decided to have a little tiff, we'll call it, with Don Lemon, right? Don Lemon, I think is fairly beloved in the Black community. Maybe?
I think so.
Right? Used to be on CNN. Obviously, he's a gay man. But I think he's again one of the ones that truly transcended where everybody, for the most part, I think fucks with Don. I think maybe. Right.
I feel like they do. I don't know
in general. But he seems like a fun guy. Seems like a genuine person. He does seem like he can be a little shady sometimes, right? So tell me about what you know about this whole Nicki Minaj, Don Lemon beef, because Nicki Minaj also used to be beloved.
I don't really know what started
like
it, to be honest with you. I just know that, so Nicki deactivated her Instagram account after she did the whole interview with Charlie Kirk's wife.
Okay.
And everybody was tearing her ass up because of the things that Charlie Kirk had said about Nicki prior. And you can check out the link below.
Oh, you know what? I was over doing my Googles. Okay. So what it was is, and this actually ties in even more perfectly than I thought it would, but Don Lemon spoke publicly about their fallout, and he was describing how a relationship he believed to be genuine turned out to be more conditional and transactional.
Okay. And then she went, but what happened was she activated her account to make this post about him after she had deactivated it weeks prior.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was a Nicki fan.
That's tough.
I was a Nicki fan. Onika Minaj. I was a Nicki fan.
Okay.
And I just feel like I feel like she's spazzing out the same way kind of Kanye did, right? I just feel like sometimes these celebrities, when this is my personal opinion, I feel like when they are not in the light and their competition is like so prevalent, like, Megan or Cardi, they're doing their things right now. It's like, well, what can I do? what can I do to become more relevant? And
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those things that she did, but is this really making her relevant? Because I feel like a lot of people have canceled her at this point. A lot of people have unfollowed her. Like, they even have a petition to send her back to where she came from. Because, she's not a U.S. citizen.
That's crazy.
Like, multiple people have signed this petition.
Yeah.
First of all, she's still here. Like,
she ain't going nowhere.
She's not going anywhere, right? But literally, she is still here, and she's doing things like what she just did.
Yeah,
doing interviews with Charlie Kirk's wife. I mean, what are we doing?
So I don't want to necessarily just freely hand out the mental health pass because I feel like it is used too much, right?
Sure.
Because I feel like you're responsible for your mental health too, though, right?
1,000%.
So as a person who deals with my own mental health things, right? There's certain stuff, and these are not ones that I made up or diagnosed myself with. They diagnosed, right? I'm responsible for some things,
sure,
right? And even if you mess up in the moment, you can still apologize, right?
Sure.
And that's the way the process works. But I think for her is big. What it is when you're famous, fame is a drug, right? But the thing about it is that despite the success of Cardi B and everybody else, Nicki Minaj never stopped being famous. She could have just continued being Nicki Minaj.
I don't know. So what do you think it is?
It would have been fine. I think it's that thing of, she feels, like she's losing something by Cardi B being successful. It's that crabs in a barrel mentality because Nicki Minaj, when she blew up, you got to think about where female rap was. There was none. But it's also, but because the era before her had ended long before Nicki Minaj popped up.
True.
As far as again, and don't come for me, people. I'm talking about in terms of that level of relevance of a female rapper. When Nicki Minaj became that relevant, it had been quiet for some years. Okay, and then Nicki Minaj burst onto the scene at her moment.
She's great. I thought she was. I'm a Nicki fan.
I still think she's one of the best female rappers of all time. Top 3 skill wise.
But how does fame look for her now since she's done this? Like, you've now gotten on this platform where you are supporting.
Well, because she's crashing out in front of us, though.
Right, but where do you go from here? Like, can you come back? Like, what do you think? Because you have all your followers. Like, the Barbs are like, no, we're not supporting her. Send her back to. I think she's from Trinidad.
Yeah.
Send her back to Trinidad, and like, how do you come back from that? Because clearly, it's like you have all these followers that have followed you, and you've rapped about all these things, and now you are like, oh no, I'm gonna be a politician now, almost.
I don't know her motivations behind this latest thing of foolishness, and I'm not here to be a Nicki Minaj apologist. Barbs don't come from me either. But I do know the way society works is that news cycle is gonna turn, and she can sadly come back from this because there's rappers that are connected to her who said things.
Sure.
About whether or not racism exists and things like that.
Yeah.
Nobody is better than I. Because he said that at the height of some big things happening in that arena, so the hip hop community is Black people very forgiving, and I just think that I don't think that she has enough self awareness or the right people around her to get to the point where she'll ever be back where she was.
My thing is, how do you support a community that does not support the majority of your followers? Like, how do you support that? How do you get behind that? Like, I don't want to make just a blanket statement, but I will say, like, the Barbs, like, even she has said, like, the Barbs, a lot of them are gay men, right? How do you support a community like that, but still want to support the current administration who kind of wants to cancel? They don't stand for the rights for the LGBTQ population. They want to cancel like the Black community. How do you get behind that?
I can't answer that question because I don't necessarily know that I could, right? I've had some opportunities to align myself, with that political party for some gain, right?
Sure.
Opportunities to meet, some people, right?
Yeah.
And I put a pin in that conversation, and I was like, because it will be an extreme shift, because then I don't align myself with any political party.
Got it.
I don't align myself, not anymore. I was more that way when I was a kid, but now I'm literally not.
I think you have to do your research, right? You have to know.
Correct.
Yeah, you got to do your research.
I believe Charlamagne always says vote your interest, and that's been my mindset before that phrase was even put out there. But also too, though, I feel like the whole political party division thing kind of pigeonholes you into having to ride with somebody that you don't necessarily agree with.
Sure.
That makes any sense, right?
Sure.
But with that being said, when I was asked to specifically, do this thing, join this group, I'm going to introduce you to, such and such, person, and this will help, what you're trying to do. It's going to help, the business that I had at the time, the clinic that I was trying to open, right? And so what I did, though, was I took the smallest step I could. I signed up for a mailing list. Okay. So I signed up for a mailing list. And I started getting these emails. And I called my same friend who told me that I always swing for the fences, called him. He's also my most judgmental friend. And I told him I was even thinking about it. And he kind of went on this whole thing for me even like remotely thinking about it, right? And I was like, dude, like it was literally a conversation that I had. We had lunch. The guy said, these things. And I'm thinking about all of the good that I could do, because the whole mission was doing good. It wasn't about me being successful, about nothing.
Sure.
Like I will have the access and opportunity to truly do all the good that I'm trying to do. And I was like, that's all I'm trying to do. He's like, well, how do you align yourself? So he goes on a rabbit hole, right? All the things that, not all, but a lot of Black people go on a rabbit hole of, right? But I started getting these emails and these text messages. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't stomach it, because I'm like, I don't talk about anybody this way. I don't look at any group of people. Let me rephrase that. I don't look at any group of people this way.
Sure.
There are certain individuals who are these things and are that way, and that we should have these concerns about. But when you're getting emails and text messages that are talking about a group of people, I'm like, that I can't do that.
Sure.
Right? And so, to answer your question, I don't know how she could align herself, unless, of course, again, the obvious assumption is true in terms of the possibility of hopefully gaining some sort of favor.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading. It's like, well, that's what a lot of people feel.
But like I couldn't even do it for the favor. And I don't know if that was a good decision or a bad decision.
Yeah.
But we'll find out, I guess,
Nika.
But I couldn't do it for the favor. But, shout out to her. Like I said, hopefully she's getting the mental health help that she deserves or needs, rather. Hopefully her husband and her family are getting, all the help that they need, talking to the right people. And so just, put them on the prayer list, I guess.
The prayer list is funny. Okay. All right. What's next?
Ad break, actually. So, want to go back to my favorite photographers. I'm only saying that because I'm hoping that they'll give us a free session for Let's Get Out the Hood.
Come on, Joey Jessica.
Hopefully come on through. But Essential Personas Photography captures people so they can remember how life felt, no matter the season they're in. Whether you're celebrating a milestone or simply showing up as yourself, their sessions are relaxed, creative, and personal. If you've been thinking about updating your photos or documenting where you are in life right now, book your next shoot at www.bookepp.com or call 469-765-4127. And again, please pull up on us, because we need to Let's Get Out the Hood photo shoot in this dope studio. Shout out to Marcus for putting the studio together. But if you are interested in advertising with us, please reach out to us. Follow us on all platforms first and foremost, because first thing I'm going to do is check and see if you're following us. I'm just saying. Let's Get Out the Hood, or email letsgetoutthehood@gmail.com. So there we are.
All right.
So
this has been a good session.
I think so. Yeah. This in a way felt like therapy a little bit.
I agree.
And I think some of these episodes will feel like therapy. But I do want to open the floor up again to the people who are going to be, following us and listening in. We want to start doing this hood highlight of the week. First week we did Charlemagne. Last week's episode ran on too long, like a church service. So we skipped the hood highlight because we was already in church for 4 hours, it felt like. But so please send in your submissions and suggestions about who you think should be the person that we talk about for
our next show.
Yes, absolutely, on the next show. So next segment is going to be a hood homework before we get out of here, guys.
Yep. All right. So think about a friendship that faded. Was it distance or direction?
Correct. So I think deep, right? So again, was that like a physical distance, or was it truly y'all were heading in opposite directions? And again, I also challenge people though, including Marcus, to just reconsider prioritizing people.
These people do not want to talk to me after this episode, and I'm okay. Cause guess what? They're blocked. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's truly okay.
Yeah. We'll let them make it. All right. But on that same
Blessings.
note, from my quote pad, quote of the week says, "Don't wait to bring flowers to the funeral. Bring soup to the sick." And that comes from Jalen Rose.
Wow.
A lot of people, it's a popular phrase now about giving people their flowers, and things like that. But the, bringing soup to the sick matters too, because somebody may be in a different season, pull up on them, check in on them. And even if they don't give you the response that you're looking for, Marcus, or a response,
don't block them.
Don't block them. You can still reach out to them because you did your part. Right?
You're right.
And whether they appreciate it or not, that's up to you to go right here and then shift them on down if that's what you need to do. Right? But
thank you, Toxie, for being the voice of reason.
So you're because what it is really showing support for people while they're becoming, because we're all growing, we're all changing.
We are.
Not just when they've arrived. And if we're being honest though, we look at celebrities and, successful people as in they have arrived, but in most of their minds, they haven't.
Yeah.
They're still, there, right? But another random quote though, a simple flip of the mindset will take you from nowhere to now here. Right? So just, put those two together. Which I remember the name of the guy, I think his name was Tim Story that said that one. But thank y'all for tuning in to Let's Get Out the Hood. We will see y'all
episode 3.
Next episode.
Bye.
Adios.
Time to break free, let's get out the hood.